and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Moines County Board of Supervisors meeting, December the 23rd, 2025. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. The meeting, department heads and elected officials. Sarah Doty, County Auditor.
Good morning. It's budget time, so we're busy working on budgets and getting things organized for the next fiscal year. So other than that, just business as usual.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lisa, County Attorney's Office.
Well, we're always busy. But fortunately, this next couple of weeks is our lull in courts because everybody takes their vacations, which is nice. It gives us a chance to get caught up on some things. One of our murder trials has been continued to May, so that will help January out a little bit. But we are now still scheduled for one in February, one in late March, early April, and now Rios has been continued to May. So it'll be a busy spring for our office. But we do have some good news. We do believe we have our empty position filled.
Okay, good.
And we're hoping to have a new attorney on board after the first of the year.
That'll bring us up to par then?
Pardon?
That brings us up to par? We hope.
Till I leave, yeah. And then it really won't be my problem. It'll be more likely than not someone else's, so. But yeah, that will put us up, so that's gonna help with all of these big murder cases coming in. And then our newer attorney, Cassie, we've got her set to do 2 or 3 different trainings, both within Iowa and a couple out of state, trying to get her really going in her, she really wants to specialize in domestic abuse cases. So we're really gonna have her start focusing some of her continuing education on those issues. So yeah, we're just going along well.
Okay, appreciate that, thank you. Brandon, how's the IT department?
Just keeping busy, working on projects and budget. Nothing new.
Thank you. Sheriff Danny?
Same story for us. We've got a lot going at the sheriff's office and at the jail. A lot of things happening with the budget, just to button everything up. The jail this morning was at 86 adults. We had 16 adults out of county and 2 juveniles. So we usually kind of trend downwards this time of year, but they're trying to fill us up. So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you. Chris Lee, conservation.
Basically what he said, only minus the jail stuff. Our people are a lot happier when they come to our facilities. But mostly just budget and working around the holidays.
Okay, thank you. Chris Miller, public health.
Good morning. We're keeping busy. I have an agenda item, but I don't have anything new to report.
Okay, thank you. Rodney Blazer.
Good morning. Just same thing, working on budget, really nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. Jared Lassiter, regional planning.
The same thing here. We've got a couple of minor subdivisions up for review for land use, but nothing else to report at this time.
Okay, thank you. Does I see Shannon back there?
Yep.
Shannon, emergency management.
Good morning. I don't have anything exciting for you, just working on budget and getting that squared away, and I hope that you have a very nice day.
Okay, thank you.
Natalie?
How's the recorder's office?
Good morning. Everything's good in the recorder's office. I'm just keeping busy as usual, and just happy holidays to everyone.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's everybody back here.
Yeah, I think everybody back there. How about Mr. Carter? How about secondary roads?
Enjoy the weather, I guess. No snow and not going to be the white Christmas, at least my wife wanted, but I'm good with it. So either way, everything's good. We do have a bid out for Pleasant Grove paving project, and there's a ton of stuff going on behind the scenes getting ready for next year, but otherwise all's good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I don't think I missed anybody then, so. Okay. Discussion of vote. We have approval of revision to the wind, solar, and battery ordinance number 64.
Yes.
Yep, over here. Hey, Tom. Okay, I got this staff report here that was included in the, agenda packet, so. So, this is just a quick summary of, this is a few minor changes that we had discussed in, here for the ordinance since last week's work session. So, the first one is, probably the most common, but relatively minor, just ensuring that the consistent usage of terms. The ordinance previously included a number of instances referring to just the board, quote, the board, where the full term Board of Supervisors had not been previously used in that same section. So really all this is intended to do is ensure that every instance that the board is used, that's clearly referring to Board of Supervisors. So there are about half a dozen, almost a dozen examples of that throughout the ordinance, and identified there in the staff report. And then a couple of instances that specifically changes where it talks about working with a third-party consultant of the board's choosing. Now specifically says chosen by the Board of Supervisors. Just sounds better that way. The next change actually relates to one that we had discussed last week in the permitting chapters, where it previously said that a notification shall be provided to in terms of public notice, whereas we'd already made the one change where it adjusts that to say the administrator shall notify, just so it's clear who is doing the notification. But there were a couple of other sections in that same chapter where that same logic would apply, and so just for the sake of consistency, those two were modified to also say that the administrator shall notify. And then the remaining changes were all something that were discussed at the previous work session. So the first of those involves, it's on page 27, there's two new subsections were added that granting consent to proceed shall not guarantee the final approval of a siting permit, and final approval may be denied by the Board of Supervisors if the final design does not conform with the minimum requirements of the ordinance or any additional conditions imposed under the authority of the section mentioned there. And then final approval may be denied by the board if material or substantial changes are made to the design or scope of the project following granting of consent to proceed. So this was largely consistent with what was discussed at the work session, except those were originally proposed to be under the previous section 3, but in further consideration it made more sense to have them under the following section, since they both are conditions that would apply only in the instance that the board did grant consent to proceed, as opposed to denial, which is the next option, the next section. And a couple of minor wording changes in there. On further consideration of the word guarantee was used to substitute for ensure, shall not guarantee, as opposed to shall not ensure. And then the original proposed wording of material or substantial changes as opposed to any changes. And then the word and or, the phrase and or scope was added, so it's design and or scope. Changes shall not be made, if changes have been made to the design and or scope. And then roughly the same changes were made in the corresponding section of Article 7, which is the final review of the permit. Basically, we're reiterating that same thing, that the permit may be denied by the board if final design does not conform with the minimum requirements of the ordinance or any additional conditions previously imposed. And it may be denied by the board if material or substantial changes are made to the design or scope following consent to proceed. And then the last change is in that same section at the end. This has already been discussed at last week's work session. That Article 7, Section J2 is modified so that it is the phrase in a manner that isn't consistent with, that has been changed to in a manner that does not conform with. So that is the summary of all the changes that have been made following the last week's work session. So if anybody has any questions about that, move on.
What's your wishes, gentlemen?
What's that?
Yeah. I can hear you. You make
No, I can't second it as written, Jim.
it.
Tom Broker? Tom Broker? Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Shane Campbell?
No.
Resolution 2025-63, setting the time and date for the wind, solar, and battery ordinance number 64, public hearing. Whereas the Board of Supervisors hereby sets the time and date for public hearing on the wind, solar, battery ordinance for Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, at 9 a.m. at the Board of Supervisors room in Des Moines County Courthouse. Whereas following the public hearing, the Board of Supervisors will consider and vote on the proposed ordinance, and there will be 3 readings of the board's regular meetings on January 6th, January 13th, and January 20th, 2026, all at 9 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room, Des Moines County Courthouse. The 3rd reading may be waived by a vote of the board in accordance with Chapter 331.302, Section 6A of Iowa Code. If approved by the majority of supervisors, the ordinance becomes effective following a newspaper publication. Now therefore be it resolved that the Des Moines County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the time and date of the Des Moines County Auditor is hereby directed to publish the notice as required by law.
Motion to approve.
Shane made the motion. Will you second it?
I'll second Tom's.
Sir.
Tom Broker? Shane Campbell? Jim Carrey?
Resolution for extending the current moratorium. Resolution extending the current moratorium, accepting and approving permit applications for commercial wind energy, conversion systems through January the 31st, 2026. What's your wishes?
I move to approve.
Yes. You second it? Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker, Jim Carey.
Yes. Now we have a resolution 2025-065, final plat for Blackstone Alley subdivision. This would be Jared and.
I'll speak briefly on this.
Okay.
This is a group effort, it wasn't just me by any means. Trent put this together. With some help from anybody and everybody involved with this. This kind of ties to the overall, I guess, D and E on the agenda. So when the board started quite a while back with conversations, I guess, back to building the new public health building, and obviously that became then rolled into conversations about the old public health building, and in the end, the board decided to work towards selling that. One of the things we realized when we did some research was that if you've been into the back alley, what would be the east side of the public health property is actually the parking lot or the parking area, and then I think there's a dumpster and electrical stuff there for the courthouse along the west side of City Alley. So I guess there's a retaining wall, probably 10-foot high retaining wall between the two. So you don't think about it being the same property, but legal description wise it is. So thank you to the city of Burlington. We worked with them and they allowed for a subdivision to essentially split that retaining wall. So basically from this side or the face of the retaining wall over to the alley, which is like an 8.5-foot strip roughly. So we subdivided that off to keep that area for use of the courthouse purposes, for the county purposes. So essentially when Trent created the rest of the paperwork, which will be on your next item, he created a legal description that excluded out that. And then the other thing during the whole process is we brought in an easement, making sure that that retaining wall in the future could be maintained, upgraded, replaced, whatever be necessary. Because honestly, the retaining wall is required for the public health building to stay where it's at, and for the parking in the alley to continue to use the way it is. So the subdivision itself is just. The city approved the subdivision. This is just the board informally accepting it. That's essentially the subdivision was created to allow Trent to create the legal description to exclude it from the public health building sale.
I move to approve the resolution.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell, Tom Broker, Jim Carey.
Yes. Now we have resolution 2025-066, signing of the deed for 522 North 3rd Street. Whereas Des Moines County resolved to sell 522 North 3rd Street, Burlington, Iowa by sealed bid on resolution 2025-47. Whereas David Hazel entered the winning sealed bid on behalf of himself and Hazel and Cummings LLP. Whereas the final plat is established an easement of right of way for the maintenance of the remaining retaining wall and access has been reviewed and approved by the city of Des Moines County. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Supervisors Supervisors hereby consent for warranty deed to be signed on behalf of Des Moines County Supervisor transferring 522 North 3rd Street to David Hazel and Hazel and Cummings LLP tenants. Okay. Second. Sarah?
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, I can't. We have appointment request for the Des Moines County Board of Health. We have several. Sorry about that, folks, my fingers are dry. We have, individuals that have sent letters in. We have, Deb Trossel sent us a letter, Dr. Fran Jackson, and, Max Turner, Ray Wilson, and Jeff Phelan. Sarah, you want to help me out here a minute on this? Where you got that?
What you need, Jim?
Yep.
Max,
Yeah,
this is Ray's.
where's the,
This is right here.
Oh.
You're welcome.
I'll use the one-sided paper, not two-sided. And,
Krista's over there. I don't know if she wants to add anything to it or.
Chris, do you need to add anything to this?
So I always appreciate the Board of Health. They work very hard. They're a volunteer board. And so I want to thank them for all the work that they do. And the Board of Health is requesting that Lynn Wilson, Deb Capsule, Dr. Jackson, and Matt Turner be appointed to the Board of Health.
So the four that we have is Dr. Jackson, Deb Trossel, Max Turner, and Ray Wilson.
I move to approve.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell?
Yeah.
Tom Broker? Jim Carrey.
It's good service.
We appreciate that. This, an unpaid voluntary board that these people are on. And it's, really a good board to be on to help the county resident. Thank you. Now we have payroll reimbursement claims in the amount of $364.55.
Motion to approve.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell. Tom Broker. Jim Carrey.
Yes. Now we have personnel action. We have 2 for local health. Priscilla Krieger, LPN, 8 hours unpaid on 12/17/2025. And the next one is Drew Tucker, CNA, local health, 8 hours unpaid on 12/18/2025.
Motion to approve both.
Sir?
Shane McCampbell.
Yes.
Tom Broker. Jim Carrey.
Yes. Now we have the reports, we have the Veterans Fair reports for December of 2025. These will be on file in the auditor's office for viewing and your discretion. And now we have the minutes for the regular meeting on December 16, 2025.
Motion to approve minutes.
Shane McCampbell. Tom Broker. Jim Carrey.
Yes. Is there any other business?
I have none.
Committee reports.
I have none.
Did you have, no, you're gone. I had a juvenile detention and report down there and our juvenile detentions. Always hate to say it's going good because that means we've got too many juveniles down there. So, we'd like to keep them down, but they seem to keep wanting to go down there and eat that prison food that we get for them. But it's going good. We're looking at new locks and control panel and everything. They're at that building's getting old and they kind of like the jail, Kevin. They can't get parts for the stuff anymore. That's going to be in tune of $280,000. So we got to teach our kids a little better. Yeah, man.
I'll tell you.
Then I had the Southeast Iowa Crime Commission. I had that, and everything seems to be going real good on that. A lot of schools going on, and so training some of the new deputies around the county. So nothing else new, but we need one automobile. They run the legs off of them automobiles transport, and we got one that's got over 200,000 miles on it, and they're looking to find another one that they can put the cages in, but they're getting farther. Trying to find the same car to put the cage in. It's expensive to put them on the road. Outside of that, well, that's what I had. Okay, public hearing. Anybody from the public wants to call in, we'll give you 2 minutes. To call 319-753-8203, extension 4, email board@dmcounty.com. And meanwhile, we'll give the people in the audience time to speak. We'll give you 2 minutes, and we're going to have Mr. Carter time it. And so we'll start with anybody in here that wants to speak. Raise your hand and yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyler Massner. I'm here again. I'm an attorney here in town. I have a comment concerning some of the recent changes concerning the language of the ordinance. And I believe as I was reviewing it, I believe there's an important ambiguity that I think is necessary to be resolved, and that is in the definition of an occupied dwelling, that would be on page 4, line 5, is language proposed. And it doesn't seem like that term is defined anywhere. And I understand in my 2 minutes, we're not going to figure it out all out today. So I just hope that you take these comments and examine this. But there is no timeline defined for when a new development is proposed. And of course, that ambiguity affects a lot of things. I practice a little bit of real estate, and I don't know exactly how to advise clients as to, okay, when to begin construction of their residential home if a proposed development is going to be defined by the time an application is being made. Or is a proposed development when this board provides its consent to proceed. The third option would be is a development proposed upon the final siting permit. These ambiguities are going to make it really difficult, not only as a real estate attorney to properly advise my clients, but I think it could possibly chill the residential development scene in and around these proposed developments. So I understand we're not going to figure it out here today, but I would just request that this board take a second look at that language. Again, that would be page 4, line 5 in the definition of an occupied dwelling. You can also see how it relates in page 7, paragraph B, page 26, paragraph G, and page 27, paragraph H. My recommendation would be to change the definition of proposed in the occupied dwelling to that of permitted to provide the community clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Rose Fisher, can you tell us at what point does the landowner find out where a specific turbine is going to be placed in proximity to their property?
I can't tell you that because I'm not the developer.
Well, okay, so a permit,
That's when they pull the permits. I'm assuming that that's the time that they will do that, right?
Yeah, it would need to be presented at both stages, and if there are any modifications at the final, that has to be clarified where that is, because it has to confirm that it's compliant with setbacks and other requirements.
okay, so when the preliminary permit is submitted, they have detailed where those turbines are going to be. But when the public is notified, when public is given notice, it just says a basic preview of the development. There's nothing specific. So when do we specifically learn? I mean, we find out that it's within 1 mile, but when do we specifically learn how close to us it will be?
Like I said, that's when they put the permit, they'll tell that exact location where it's gonna be.
But when do we learn? Is that permit
We won't
public
know
information?
until they grow. I don't think we'll know until they.
I thought we had to send out letters when.
Well, that's simply saying that people within that proximity need to be notified, but as part of the process of going through that permit, all of that information will be made public through that review process.
Through which process?
The review of the permit by the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, so I guess I want clarity on when do we learn? Because on page 22, it says the draft site plan includes the proposed location of each turbine when the developer submits their permit. But then it goes on to say the administrator will notify the property owners within 1 mile of each turbine. The notification is to include basic information about the proposed project, including the type of system, its general location, and the overall size of the system. So does that basic information going to include detailed placement of the turbines?
So, because they've gotta give detailed placement for permitting process, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I mean,
when we look at the cases, and again, Worthy versus Worth County, whatever, however they word that, say that, that may change the case law here in a couple months. But, the case law that we have so far, tends to look at a lot of cases where there's this very similar fact pattern where you have this initial approval of some form of a permit, a conditional permit of some sort, whatever it's called. And that's based on this kind of rough placement of turbines and this rough number of turbines. And then what happens over time is developers keep moving these proposed placements around throughout that application period. And then what happens is based on the number of change or based on position change, eventually the government entity gets frustrated and they're like, nope, we're just not doing this, we're done. And that's when the developers end up coming after and suing the counties. So, and really it's the final permit stage is the stage where we have and where we require a fixed site for an implement. So what really happens with this conditional approval is we essentially would be granting a zone, like a zoning area, whereas as long as a developer follows the bare minimum standards of the ordinance, it becomes very difficult for the government entity to say no without creating liability for the county. But where it's a fixed location in our ordinance is at that final approval. So the answer to where is a fixed location, that's not until the end. So what they're really getting at that initial vote, after that initial public hearing, is essentially a zone, almost as if it was zoned for an industrial area for these implements, whatever it is, whether it's BES, whether it's solar, whether it's wind. But essentially that's a zone. And as long as something is within the bounds of the ordinance within that zone, we're gonna have a really tough time saying no. That's why I think the one step, that's why I've been recommending the one-step process.
In the zone you're talking about, would a Richard Tager, I'm sorry, I have no dog in this fight, so. In the zone, would in each individual zone, would a environmental study permit be part of the permit requirement?
Well, Chris is back here, but yes, that's built into it, yes.
So that would be part of the permitting process, environment on each zone.
And by zone, we're in this case, we're specifically referring to the participating properties where the developer will have identified the location of
the environmental impact on that property.
Right, that's specified in the wildlife mitigation and monitoring chapter, that area needs to have environmental studies and consultation with state and federal conservation agencies, and if it's in the proximity of a public conservation area, that area needs to be evaluated as well.
Good.
So the locations.
Name?
Oh, Leslie Coates. So the locations of the turbines can continue to change until final approval. But when does our 1 year to build clock start?
Well, it's 1 year between the preliminary and the consent to proceed and then presenting the final permit for review. It's 2 years for the final, once the final permit has been approved by the board to complete the construction of the entire facility.
Can you clarify that? When does it start?
Once the board approves the permit.
Is that first approval or the proceed to go, or is that after they say?
The final approval.
So, okay.
So final approval starts 1 year.
No, it's under, let me find the specific passage here. So on page 33, section J, validity of approved permits. An approved siting permit shall be valid for 2 years following approval of the Board of Supervisors. And so that basically, without any additional request for extension from the developer and having that evaluated by the board, in absence of that, they would have 2 years to complete the entire development.
Brad Coates, Pleasant Grove. I'm gonna you guys have heard, I'm gonna read again. It's the Nordex, it's QB04 safety instruction. It says behavior in specific situations. This is revision 0. It was written 8/17 of 2018. Okay, so this is written 6 years after Mechanicsville. This is not the Mechanicsville safety manual, okay? Talks about 9.2 thunderstorm. Life-threatening injuries due to lightning strike. In case of approaching thunderstorm, leave, don't enter, on and on. It says a work tower is at high risk from lightning strikes. Persons inside or in the proximity of a work tower are still at risk. Leave the wind farm. Wait in a vehicle a safe distance from the work tower, approximately 1 kilometer, which is 3,280 feet, until the thunderstorm is passed. Wait 1 hour after the thunderstorm is passed before entering the work tower. You guys have asked over and over and over for the safety information from AES, and they won't give it to you. How do we set safety into this ordinance, which is what it's about, when they won't even share what their safety is, what their employee safety is? And they say, well, it's confidential. They're gonna have to release it at some point, and then they say, well, we haven't picked a tower. I mean, I don't think Lightning cares if it's a Ford, Chevy, or a GMC tower. It doesn't matter. So they should, and any of them can make a phone call in 5 minutes and get that number. They know it. They all know it. And they're not giving it to you. And it's ridiculous that we're putting out an ordinance when we don't know what their safety is. And we're forcing, I guarantee it's not 750 feet from tower. That's a long way from 3280. You need to demand that number.
Allison Moore, but I'm reading a letter from a neighbor who couldn't be here this morning because they're working. Dear Sirs, well, this is from Robin and Kevin Wexel. Dear Sirs, my husband and I purchased a home in rural Des Moines County in the fall of 2002. We love the peacefulness and beauty of our surroundings. We've spent many years making improvements to our home and property, and it has gained in value ever since. We are very concerned that if the 650 wind turbines become a reality, 650-foot wind turbines become a reality here, we will no longer have our peaceful, beautiful surroundings. This reality won't even be of much concern to those who live in the city, as there is already noise and other distractions there. But for us, it changes everything. What I cannot wrap my head around is this. While those who are in favor of the wind turbines as an environmentally clean, renewable source of energy Those same people are willing to approve the destruction of the very environment the wind turbines will occupy. These wind turbines will destroy wildlife habitats. These wind turbines will destroy the peacefulness and beauty of the landscape. These wind turbines will lower the property values of precious family farms and homes. These wind turbines will be constructed here to provide energy to some other nearby state, not for our benefit, energy-wise at all, an abuse of our fertile land. These wind turbines would be the tallest in the entire county except for the one on a college campus in Texas, which is being used for research, and 20 feet taller than the St. Louis Arch. We don't need those kind of bragging rights. These wind turbines will require hundreds of trucks using our gravel roads in order to be put in place, to set concrete, haul rebar, wind turbine parts, and the cranes to install. Our county roads will very likely, be torn up and destroyed in some places, a definite added cost to taxpayers for repair. These wind turbines will be a health hazard to humans, livestock, and property if a fire or storm should occur, damaging the turbine. Are our rural fire departments equipped and trained properly to handle an emergency like this effectively? The bottom line is this: we all hope that our elected officials will have our best interest in mind for any decisions that they make. We trust that they will always do the right thing for their people. Once a decision is made about the wind turbines, there's no going back. You will be held accountable for your decisions by the people of Des Moines County. Please do the right thing for all of us. You will not be in office in 25 years when these wind turbines will not be in operation. What will the fallout be? The next generations will have to deal with the outcome of your decisions now. Please do the right thing. Say no to the wind turbines in our Des Moines County. Sincerely, Robin and Kevin Wexel. Now, I personally, there's a newly designated landing zone at the Yarmouth School for MedForce. I want to know if you will consider adding a specific setback into the ordinance to protect this site to ensure this will always be available for them to safely land. And I have excuse me. This is from MedForce. And I did not know when I contacted you guys earlier if this was a thing, but it is a designated landing site. Okay, thank you. So I'm asking if you will consider that. Putting it into our ordinance that we have a special setback for that particular zone.
It'll be something, it'll be something to look at and consider.
I think it would be important for the safety of the MedForce and for the citizens to have access. Will you consider?
I'll look at it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Wyatt Moore. I don't really have any points to make today, except what I'm observing. I want to applaud Shane for what you said in the past. I know you want to tweak the ordinance a little bit more. Jim, it looks like you're cashed out. Like, as my mom was reading that just now, you got a blank stare on your face, and you kept on shooting glances over at Brian Carter to see when her 2 minutes were up. I want you to see you engaged. I know in 15 years it's not going to matter to you anyways, because you're not going to be here anymore. I'm 26. I got a lot of years left. I care what Des Moines County looks like. I want supervisors that have the interest of the people and the land and the resources. I want you guys to be the best stewards you can be. Tom, I've seen your body behavior on audio before because I have to take time off to be here today. That's another thing I'm unhappy with. I want to see these hearings happen in the evening. I don't care where they happen. We filled this room today. It'd be nice if everybody had an opportunity to come and sit down. It's ridiculous I do not hear from my supervisors through email, and I got to take time off from my job to be here at this hearing today. So Jim, I hope you look over everything. Our safety's at stake. Future generations are at stake. You too, broker. I hope you look at it, work with Shane, and I hope you guys make a collective decision on what's best for the land, the people, and the future generations.
hear the same thing over and over and over.
Are you listening? Please listen.
We elected you. The majority elected you. What are the majority people saying? What are you hearing? The only people that are in favor of this thing are the ones that are getting the money for it. It's financial. There's no common sense. It's all financial. So either you're mentally checked out and you're trying to take the easy bus, or you're getting paid, Jim. I mean, that's the only two options.
That statement there, your mother kept that up there, that we was getting paid under the table.
I didn't keep it out there. I removed that as soon
It was
as I
on
knew.
there, so why wouldn't I be sour toward that?
Jim,
No,
I
I did
removed.
not take money under the table, and I
don't think
get
you
it.
do.
And you left it on the website,
No, I
everybody read that.
didn't. Jim, I removed that and I told people that
Yeah,
wasn't
after
acceptable.
what, 2 weeks?
No, that's not
Do not
true.
blame her on
That morning I heard about it. I removed it, Jim. I told you that. I told you that.
So then you're checked out. That's what it boils down to. You don't care what the people have to say.
Yes, I
we're
care.
here.
Hold on,
We're here
hold on,
today.
hold on.
Let's keep
2
some
minutes.
order. Yeah, let's keep some
And
order.
this is getting too hot. Calm it down and keep it to 2 minutes. Doesn't need to be personal. You all get to speak.
No, we've made it personal.
I understand.
Yes.
Patty Jo Patton, Burlington, Iowa, but I was born and raised just south of Yarmouth, and my dad still resides and farms there, as do many other relatives. Everything I have to say is longer than 2 minutes, so I will condense it down. So before you start the clock, I have some information that I would like to give to you to read at your earliest convenience. And Tom, I will leave a copy for you as well. And I will give you two. You better. Thank you, Sandy, there's one for you. For months now, you, the supervisors, have had a huge responsibility to the residents of Des Moines County to draft a well-written ordinance that protects the health and safety of the county and its residents while enabling the wind developer to build a workable, cost-effective wind project. The handout that I have just given you proves you have done just that. It was put out by the Iowa Environmental Council in conjunction with the University of Northern Iowa Center for Energy and Environmental Education. I've also included from the University of Iowa, MIT, and another study, and they all agree that there is no scientific evidence that wind turbines cause adverse health issues. I did find it interesting, though, that one common term kept coming up repeatedly, and that was the nocebo effect. But I will let you look that term up on your own. Might I also add that I contacted the Department of Quantitative Health Sciences at Mayo Clinic, and they agree with the independent studies done that wind turbines have no scientific evidence that turbines cause adverse health issues, and they too refer to the nocebo effect. I'm also here to speak publicly about what all the supporters of the project think and want to say publicly, but do not want to get caught up in all the drama that is attached for speaking out. I guess I'll put the target on my forehead. After hearing statements like anyone who signed leases should be ashamed of themselves, or the people who signed up only care about the money and do not care about the safety of others, is absolutely ridiculous. After all, most of them live on the leased ground, so if this were the case, they must not care about themselves either. This is why they feel no need to come to these meetings. They have voiced their feelings and factual information to the supervisors, either by phone, in person, or emails. May I also clear up the rumor that people were told not to talk about their leases, and I highly doubt that the supervisors are being paid under the table. That would be totally against the law, I would think. It's been said that the wind turbine project is dividing people. It's not the project that's dividing the people, but the unnecessary comments that are dividing the people. Now, I know I'm going to get eye roll, sighs, and under-the-breath comments, as I have seen and heard it all. But when you do that, you are doing it not just to me, but to all the supporters, whether they be landowners or other supporters. The one thing that I do pride myself on is I have always said, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I have never once been disrespectful to others or their opinion, so I would expect the same for my opinion and my fellow supporters' opinion. Thank you.
My name is Randy Four. I live at 19108 Highway 78, Moines, Iowa. And are you, ma'am, are you gonna live out and among those windmills?
No, but my dad is.
Yeah, but you're not.
Poor guy.
Keep your comments forward, please.
Thank you. I live a mile north of the Des Moines County line. I have a very peaceful way of life. At night, I don't hear the swish, swish, or the generators humming when I open the window in the summertime. I have no flicker flash. Do you have a peaceful way of life, Jim?
Excuse
Do
me?
you have a very peaceful way of life where you live?
Pretty noisy, I live in town.
How about you, Shane? It's pretty noisy, I'm in town too. Well, we don't have that. And I don't want that. And what do we do when that starts happening? I don't know. I do know that my parents taught me to not infringe things on people to make their life worse. And I see this happening with these windmills. Just go around the country and look, I mean, and I would not do that to you. So, thank you.
My name's Wyatt Orr. I don't live about 2 miles from where these turbines are gonna go up. And I actually lived in Galva, Illinois for 2 years. I went to college over there at a community college. And there is turbines all over there. And I always thought those were really big. I kind of worked for a guy and he had cows out in the pasture. And I realized those are gonna be about half the size of the ones that they're looking at putting up in Yarmouth. And from my research I did was there's only 2 turbines even close to the size of what those are projected to be. One by the Iowa-Minnesota border and one in Texas at a research farm. And I guess my opinion is I just, I get property rights, they came to me, it's a lot of money, I mean, it is. I mean, I'll be the first one to agree that everybody that got offered probably had to think twice about it, because I mean, it is life-changing money, but I kind of thought, what are we doing for the next generation? I'm a 7th generation farmer. I hopefully have kids, have an 8th, and I just kind of think, are we really providing the best area for our future generations to grow? And so after thinking about the money, for a little bit, I thought, it would make my life easier as a full-time farmer. It's tough being a young farmer and that your only income being farmer, but I thought, I guess I'd rather fight and try to provide a way of life the right way instead of taking the easy way out. So I thank you guys for your time. I know you guys get a lot of personal attacks. You're just doing your job, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Terry Davis, I have a couple of questions. One of them, there's going to be studies about wildlife, endangered species, etc. And I think the Conservation Department in Des Moines County would be a good choice to do that work. They have experts there in different fields. So I'd like for you to consider using the Conservation Department for those studies. Another thing, I would like to know if the wind company, are they getting tax abatements?
Not from
us.
They're not getting the tax abatement?
Not from us.
Not from you? No. From the state?
I think they're getting federal money strictly, but I don't know.
They're subsidizing it. Here's another thing, it's federal, cut that subsidy out, you won't see a wind farm come out. We need to be talking upper level, Des Moines. They're the ones that let them come in, but then they put it down on the board of supervisors in each county to do. They said they could come in, they give them an okay to build 650 to 700 foot towers. And we knocked it down to 650 for that reason. And really, Terry, I think at the local level, we should not have been involved in it at all. It should have been at the upper level in the state. And the state will do nothing about it. The Iowa Public Board, Utility Board should be the one in charge of all of this wind farms.
How did we get involved in it? How did that happen? We had a wind ordinance prior to that, right?
Excuse me?
We had a wind ordinance prior to this latest go around.
Yeah, in 23, we heard that they was buying Roundup, so we went ahead and put an ordinance in to try to protect us. Now this, what we've been doing here since July, we've been trying to upgrade this to make it more safer for people.
Okay, thanks for your time, and I would like you to consider asking the Conservation Department to do a study of wildlife. They're familiar with this area, familiar with the sensitive areas of wildlife, so.
Is that part of what we got in that ordinance with, working with the DNR and local conservation?
Right.
Yeah, it's in the ordinance there.
Okay, thank you.
Greg Ross. What I hear, there's 2 points that I think are the biggest divider, and that's setbacks and height. And I also hear, I've been watching the board meetings on YouTube, but it seems like I can't find anything said good about 650-foot wind turbines setting 1,000 feet next to your house. Everything I hear is bad. So when I think about this, I don't understand why it's such a big stretch to increase setbacks for safety. Shorten the height for safety. They can still put them up. I don't understand. You guys have the authority to make that happen. I don't understand, when you look at, it's negative towards the eagles, the bats, insects, human health. I know there's disagreement there, but check your source. Everybody has a source, depending on which side of the problem you're at. So, there's gotta be some give, I would think. It seemed, just from the outside looking in, it looks like AES come in here and said, this is what we're doing, this is where we want them, this is how high we want them, and this is how close we want them to the houses. It should be property lines anyway. And it seems like there's very little pushback on the county's side of that. Now, maybe I'm being misled by what I see, but I'll just end it at that. And well, the other thing is, I thought Iowa was a home rule state.
Yes.
Home rule.
County home rule.
Meaning it's up to the counties to make their own rules, basically. So, okay, I'll quit. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Tim Fisher, I live out by Pleasant Grove. Just have a couple of quick comments here. I think it's pretty obvious this ordinance really needs a little bit more work on it. And going back to Rose's comment, how are landowners to comment about the turbines in relation to their property at a public hearing when the placement is unknown? Because in the ordinance right now, it says that landowners that are non-participating have the opportunity to make comments to the Board of Supervisors. But if we don't know the exact location of it until the final permitting, our chances are done because they're already permitted. So if there's anything that's wrong in there, or there's anything that you guys haven't seen on it, we need a chance to see that. So there's something out of sequence in the permitting process. I really think that needs to have a look taken at it. Thank you.
Somebody had your hand up back there, I don't know who it was. Oh.
It wasn't me, but Cindy Newberry. As far as the health thing's concerned, like I've said before, I can't have that. I can't have it. I'm dizzy now because of the fan. I brought it up before. It's hot in here. I'm not gonna have all these people be hot, so I'm not dizzy. So just think what it's gonna be when it's huge. and shadow flicker. I have BPPV, not that anyone needs to know my health history, but I have BPPV and a vestibular nerve that doesn't work. So any show that has flashing lights makes me instantly sick. This, thank you, whoever did that. I'm sorry. So that's one thing. So I compare the health end of this to smoking. How many years did it take? Oh, smoking's good for you, smoking's good for you, it's fine. Because that's what the upper people are telling you. It took years and years. There's so many instances that it takes forever to prove something is not healthy. By the time this is proved, and it's kind of proved, it's just that everything is written by pro-end people. So by the time it's proved, it's too late. They're up. I'm gonna have to move. I can't do this. The second thing is, I have a question of why is it so hard to let the rest of Des Moines County, we fill this room. There's no way you can have a hearing in here. Or readings, or whatever you call it. You can't. It's full today.
We're gonna move it up to the third floor
Okay,
courtroom.
we just approved this room.
No, the next meeting will be up in the.
In the thing, did you read that and you all approved it? Didn't that say in this room?
It did. It did.
Yeah, that's,
we are going to move it up.
I didn't get approved in the courtroom in time.
Can we make it at night?
So I guess you have to, and it should be at night. He had to take off work. I don't know who else had to take off work. But there's so many people that want to come, they can't take off work, and we're all Des Moines County people. It's not asking for the world, it's just a night meeting that, you've got to, or you don't want to hear the people, I don't know. I'm just saying that's really not fair to him. I have people that wanted to come today, they can't get off work for this, especially if it's 3 weeks in a row. I'm just asking, why do you not want it at night?
Jim's bedtime.
No answer?
Anybody else?
I mean, it's a simple question, why can't it be at night?
I'm Tom Brockett, I farm and live on 190th Street. First thing I'd like to do is maybe get you some IT help. Over the course of the last 3 years, I've emailed this board about multiple things, and you're the only one, Jim, that hasn't ever responded. I don't know if you locked out of your email or what the deal is, but not just this subject, so don't say we get bombarded. I've contacted you about a lot of things, never heard a response from you. I don't appreciate that. The second thing is.
What's your email?
What's that?
I don't check my junk mail.
Well, it shouldn't be in your junk mail, you're an official, so you ought to do what you need to do, or talk to your IT guy and have him fix it. So here's the deal, it needs to be about setback from the property line. If my daughter wants to come back here and build a house, she needs to be able to do that on my property without having to worry about a windmill being right next to the property line. This is ridiculous. That's all I got.
I'll add another note to that. I emailed all three of you. I got an email.
Can you give us your name?
Yep, Joshua Kwong. I emailed all three of you, and at all three of you, you were the only one that did not email me back.
I read that email and I decided not to respond to that.
I got an email back from you and Tom Broker, so I appreciate that. Tom Broker actually gave me a call, and chatting on the phone with him for a little while, but aside that, I don't see how this is
I got
safe.
14 emails Sunday.
14.
14 of them.
That's not that many. I'm a business
When I'm
owner.
sitting at home
14
having
emails.
Christmas with my grandkids. Let's put it that way.
I got a daughter, 3 months old. You applied for
What?
this.
Part of being on the board.
14 emails? That's a joke.
Part of the job.
That's a joke. 14. I figured you had 140.
No,
14.
Were they pro or against?
Every one of them was against, but they're
Okay.
mainly people that's been in here before against.
Yeah.
Because people work, Jim.
It's because we have to keep sending them because we feel like you're not listening to us.
He's not. He's ignoring us.
Terry Davis.
Just a minute, Terry.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
Okay. I would like to request that those hearings be moved to evenings. because some of these folks are taking off work today. I'm fortunate enough, I'm retired, I don't have to. But Jim, there's a lot of people that would like to attend. You approved the meeting date and time in this location, and you said you could change that to another room in the courthouse. So if you can do that, you can also change the time. So I would like to request that you change that time to the evening so people that work are able to attend. Thank you.
I'm Kenny Olson from Des Moines County. I got a couple of things. One, you were talking about smoking and the health hazards of that. Iowa has one of the highest rates of cancer in the country.
Keep your opinions up here.
Sure thing. Iowa has one of the highest rates of cancer in the country and one of the ones that's only still climbing. What's not causing that is windmills. Another thing that we heard last week from someone was that this ordinance would make us the second most unsafe county next to Winneshiek County. And I looked at Winneshiek County's data and I found exactly 0 cases of personal harm from windmills. So if we're second from 0, I'd say that's pretty good. And regarding the job that you guys have to do in balancing all of the comments from out here with the fact that this wind project will bring in and make it the highest tax revenue generator for this county, that's a big job because that's over $1 million a year. It's over $1 million a year. And I think turbines are ugly too. I do think they are, but what I think is uglier is unmaintained county roads, underpaid sheriff's deputies, and other things going on in this county. There's no known harm that these are causing. Let's keep looking into it. This isn't an experimental thing. Over 50 counties in Iowa already have this, and they're the highest income generators for taxes in over 30 of those. This isn't new data, this isn't new anything, this is going on everywhere, and there are 0 cases of reported harm to people. 0. So, yeah, there are issues here, and I think that you guys have done a spectacular job of taking our ordinance from where it was and increasing those safety protocols. Again, I wouldn't have put a lot of those in there. I think that the way it was before was just fine, but I know that you guys have a job to do in balancing this. So I appreciate you balancing all the negative comments with the fact that this will bring in over $1 million a year to help support the funding that our county desperately needs. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
I've got a question for Sarah before I go. Sure, I'd love to.
9 Shade, Minneapolis. Don't know whether you're aware or not, but yesterday President Trump shut down several wind turbine farms along the Atlantic coast for defense purposes. 8 miles down the road, Middletown, we got a federal ammunition ordinance. So, just saying, we may see it.
Brad Coates, Pleasant Grove. I guess I'd like to thank the comments. I'm looking forward. I'd like to thank the comments over here. This is about money. Let's just call it what it is. This is about money. It's not about safety, or they wouldn't be here. And Jim, we've had the conversations. This county is not broke. There's other things to do. We don't need the money. So I'm glad to admit it's about money. We don't need this money.
Leslie Coates, Pleasant Grove. I'm gonna say this because I don't know if I'll ever have that opportunity. Every week we come in here, we look at this banner. Farms, chickens, cows, wildlife. That's what this county is. And this decision will fundamentally change this county into an industrial park with 65-story buildings everywhere. It's gonna be blinking lights. Oh, they'll change that. And the AES doesn't respect you guys enough to give you the information you need to make safe ordinances. And you know that's true. You've asked and they don't give it to you. Oh, we'll tell you. I was an engineer. I knew projects a year and a half out before I started a project, when I started designing it. They know, they just don't respect you guys enough to tell. And I don't know why you're so bound and determined to have this, but you seem so bound and determined to allow this and not even give us safe setbacks. 3280 from a property line is reasonable. It's what the manual says. And I'm done, and I probably shouldn't say anything, but I'm just begging. Don't change that. You don't want to put a big black turbine on it. He says they're ugly. there's not a good reason for it, except money. But
Ron Helling, Jim, you had talked about you blame the state, putting the onus on you, the county board, to make recommendations and decide what is best for the county, but the reality of it is not every county in Iowa has wind turbines. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why this county looks like it's going to have wind turbines. It's because of the rules that the county boards have created. It's as simple as that.
Bob Strawhacker from Indianapolis. We've been quoted by the wind companies in Henry County for 3.5 years. For most of my life, I've always wanted wind turbines. We looked at that. These things were 25 miles from my house. I thought, this thing's great. I read their contracts. It's not good at all. I can't believe anybody that would read their contracts can sign. But they did get a lot to sign up. But I think Henry County ended up with over a 3,000 foot distance on it. I know you guys are afraid if you make the distance too far, you might get sued for it. It stands out. If you're matching other counties, what they're doing, you're more standing together. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The other thing I look at is I've been down to Kansas, Texas, over in Illinois some. You see some of these turbine farms, and I kind of look at it, if I'm gonna live somewhere, I always said, if you wanna be there, camp out there for a couple days and see what you think. And I'd ask that too for the wind turbines. If you think it's good to have them that close, go park there for a day or so, watch them, see if the wind lights are good or bad. I think you'd have a different opinion of it. I know they have the way to turn off the lights for the airport stuff. I mean, that's been around for years. It doesn't happen from what I've heard. There's a lot of technology they have for that stuff. They say, we can shut off the turbines when you spray. Everybody I've talked to for the years on this said it doesn't happen. So the stuff's out there. It seems like the companies are trying to sell you on that. And they may have it. If it doesn't get used, well, then it's no good, and we're looking at flashing lights. So I look at it from the landowner. I appreciate you guys protecting the landowner's rights. I know that's important too. But boy, I think if you were camped out in it, you'd realize it's going to ruin the county if they do come. That's my personal opinion.
Allison Moore, I'd like to piggyback off that. I believe also Henry County made a 300-foot height max, which is basically saying you can build, but they're going to be less than 300 feet tall. No wind turbine company is going to want to come into the area to put in a turbine that's 300 feet tall this day and age. So you can do that. You can set the low enough height restrictions so they're like, well, we better move on. But like he said, let's be a good neighbor. Now, I've told you guys before, there's not wind turbines along the east boundary of Iowa because it's a river. We have river towns. We have to protect what we have. We have to protect our migratory pathways. There's a reason they're not there. We don't want to be the first to have that be okay.
Thank you. See nobody else? Oh, yeah.
Maddie Hollingsworth, Indianapolis, Iowa. First, I want to thank the board for extending the moratorium. It's much appreciated. I'm bringing concerns on the following: the public input meeting times, the setback on non-participating property owners, and the experimental turbine height allowed in the current revised ordinance, along with urging considerations from the conservation and the health department. I'd like to request that the board moves future public input to be within the evening hours. I believe hardworking citizens of the county who cannot take off work to attend public input should have an opportunity to voice their opinions. Do you believe that? A concern with the current revised ordinance is the setback from property dwellings rather than property line. This is a direct violation of a property owner's rights as it interferes with the safety of their property, especially should they decide to build or expand a dwelling in the future. It also indicates that the safety is not a concern of the supervisors outside of a property owner's dwelling, as if property owners only spend time and are taxed on their home. The current revision of the setback is not taking into consideration the many other uses and rights of a person's property. I urge you to put the setback at the property line and take into account the rights of all tax-paying property owners. Another concern that's been brought up relentlessly is the height restriction. My concern is all the studies, everything that everyone has brought up, none of that matters when the height is 650, because there's no studies on that. So anything that you've researched, anything that we've researched, it doesn't matter if the height is almost twice the average turbine in the US. It's just very frustrating and hard to understand. In conclusion, I'm asking the Duane County Board of Supervisors to take more time and consideration on a very important ordinance that will shape the future of our wonderful county for generations to come. I don't believe this ordinance should be taken lightly, and I feel the board has failed to understand all of the potential impacts of the ordinance on its citizens. With respect, it is your duty as elected officials to be thorough and diligent and on an ordinance that no doubt will impact the citizens of your county. Landowners or not, for many years to come, let's make sure we get it right. And I do want to end on a quote from Aldo Leopold, one of our county's greatest, although we don't know where he would stand on this particular renewable energy. A thing is right when it tends to preserve the integrity, stability, and beauty of a biotic community. It is wrong when it tends otherwise. Thank you.
Whitemore, I'd like to say something else about the emails. I don't expect you guys, I know it's Christmas, holiday season, I completely understand that. There's something called an automatic reply where if you guys want to take personal time, if people are sick, say, I'm not working on this right now, I'll get back to you after the first of the year. It's a little bit respectable. We don't like talking to a blank wall. We just want to hear something back. So instead of like ignoring 18 emails or however many emails, 100 emails, however many you want, have an automatic reply. Say, yeah, it's Christmas. We're taking the week off. We'll follow you back up. Follow up with you on January. We just want to hear a little bit of feedback.
Sam Coates, Yarmouth, Iowa. I'm also a working individual. Took work off today to be here. And I would just encourage you guys to revisit when you're going to have the ordinance vote, that meeting, and move it to the evening so that more people can make it.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, you.
Randy Ford again. Jim, you and Tom, what's it gonna take to change your mind? I think these people wanna know that, and you owe that to them to give them that explanation. Is it gonna take anything, nothing, or do you have something that they can convince you to change your mind? Thank you. No comment.
When all this started, I publicly said I am against wind turbines, and I still am. I still feel strongly that we don't want them. But I've got a job to do, which is a terrible job of setting an ordinance for it. And I've taken a lot of ridicule from it. I went to church Sunday, and a guy come up and sat right down beside me when I had my wife and grandkids there and started in on this wind thing about me before church started. I've taken a lot of stuff against this. And it's getting personal to me. I don't want it, but it's really getting personal to me, trying to make it safe for everybody. When they come and complain all the time, it seems like I'm not doing anything right. So I cannot answer your question in a good manner.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I can't do that.
Sam Coates, Yarmouth, Iowa again.
Yes.
The way you describe that as it's a terrible job, I think is just a bad way to look at it. You have an opportunity to keep Iowa looking the way Iowa looks. And a lot of people would be excited to be in your position because they can make real change. And you have that opportunity. So I wouldn't take that for granted, and I would consider that when you go to vote.
Thank you.
Niall Shade, Minneapolis. I was going to reserve this until the public hearing time, but I want to address a point. I've attended many of these meetings, not all of them. My wife has been here a ton too, giving you hundreds of pages of information that she spent hours and hours and hours on. The way this thing started was that you were going to permit from day one. It was just working on a permit, working on the ordinances. You never started by asking the people whether they wanted them or not. That's where it should have started, not by permitting. And if the people said, yeah, put them up, go ahead, then you go to permitting. But the board moved immediately to design and permit. And that was wrong.
The reason we got wind that they was leasing ground. So we wanted to be proactive and get an ordinance out there, which we did. And now this is the ordinance that we are updating. We didn't have time to go to the people and put it in there, hey, we're gonna have a big wind farm up here. We did what we thought was right at the time. And I still think we did what was right. When we found out they was going to, we wanted to protect ourselves as the county and as the taxpayers.
The wind company can contract with anybody, the man on the moon, but until it's permitted by the county, they can't do squat. That's the thing. Until you say, yes, go for it, they can't do a thing. They could come and, offer everybody $1 million, but until you permit it, they can't do a thing. So if it's not permitted, who cares?
No vested interest.
No vested interest.
So if you don't want wind turbines, why are you catering to their heights? Like you could, like if they said 650 to 750 and you said, okay, well, we're gonna do 650 then, like why? You didn't have to say that. You could have said, well, we're gonna stick to 425 or, why? If you don't want them, why?
I don't know, can't answer that.
And the setbacks, I mean, if you value property rights, why don't you value my property line?
I do. I know how to answer.
I respect the fact that you don't like it being personal, and I understand that. But everybody here takes it personal. When you got something this big, all the negative about them right out your back door, yeah, it gets personal. And so that's what you're feeling. So I guess that's all I got to say.
What you're feeling now, I'm Josh Palm again. What you're feeling now, I guess, personal attack. Don't mean it's come off that way, but my property, I'll be seeing that for 30 years. So, I mean, yeah, 45. And then if they decide not to take them down, they're just sitting there. I mean, it's just, you're dealing with such a short, and you can stop it. We're going to be dealing with this. I mean, we're 28, 30 years old. We'll be taking these things down. I mean, we will be laughing at Jim Carey, Tom Broker, and Shane McCampbell when they go to take these things down. I mean, we will legit be laughing at you guys like, why did they do this to our county? If not crying, yeah.
You mentioned that something about the time, you didn't have time, so you adopted or put in place a moratorium. Now you've extended it to the end of January. What was keeping you from extending it to another 6 months or something like that? I mean, is there something pushing you to get this done? I guess is the question.
now that we start I'll speak on that. Now that we start the process, I mean, we've got to complete it at some point in time, and we can't leave it undone. So, I mean, we've got to,
Well, I'm not saying you can't complete it,
yeah,
but you can take more time, couldn't you?
that's possible. But then we don't really have anything on the books.
That's not true.
Oh.
I have told you guys.
There's a guy back there had his hand up first.
Okay.
I'm very involved as far as watching.
Everybody needs to remember that.
Randy Forrest, my name, sorry.
Thank you.
Ugliest man in Wise County.
We just saw people who are watching.
Randy Ford, I pay attention to what's going on in Louisa County. I watched Washington County, Henry County. Louisa County's been in a moratorium before you guys even started. They've been stalling this thing off through moratorium up there longer than a year. And there's no reason you can't do it either. So, you know, Henry County would have been a good model to follow, and so would Washington County been a good model to follow if you guys have been following that too, which if I were a supervisor, I would be looking at what these people are doing, my neighbors. Thank you.
Allison Moore. So I told you guys next month there are multiple boards meeting still about wind turbines. And so that's one reason I'm asking if you'll push it off at least another month into February to have these public hearings. We have the Board of Health, it's on their agenda for next month. The Mediapolis City Council, it's on their agenda. Hopefully the Danville City Council, we're talking to them. We're not ready. We just need to slow things down a little bit to make sure that it's as thorough as possible. We've done this much work so far. Let's finish it right.
Wyatt Orr, can we get a reason that we can't have these meetings later? I had several people that wanted to come too that had to work. Luckily, I'm a full-time farmer. I can kind of dictate my schedule, but I think a lot of people would really enjoy to personally be able to come to the meetings. If more than anything, I get, but just so they can at least express their opinion either way. Maybe you'll get people that are for it. Like the last meeting you had upstairs that was after hours, you had some people from both sides of the aisle. It's fair to hear both sides. I'd be the first to admit that.
No answer. Kenny Olson, Des Moines County. I just want to say one more thing on safety, just because I know that this isn't directly, this public forum isn't directly about wind. And we got pointed to that sign back there about Des Moines County with all the hogs, pigs, and everything else. And I want to state again that Iowa has one of the highest cancer rates in the country, and that's still going up, and the windmills are not the cause of that. Yeah, we put over 100 billion tons or pounds of manure on our fields every single year. And there is evidence that that's where it's coming from. And I feel that there is a lot of non-scientific based fear in this room, and that the goal of most people is to create a de facto ban on wind energy so that, if you put rules in place, no one can build there, no wind. It's not really an ordinance, that's a ban. And what I think that we should be looking at is the things that are known to cause cancer and cause real harm in this county and will for a long, long time, and in this state, have impacts on these people and on their children. And that's where the real issue lies, and no one is talking about that.
Brad Coates, Pleasant Grove. I don't think anybody has ever said we're worried about cancer from these turbines. Worried about ice throw, worried about debris, worried about shadow flicker, worried about sound, worried about all things that have happened in Iowa that are real, and that's what we're worried about.
Is it possible, I don't know, Donnie Wagenbach, I don't know anything about all these proceedings, but is it possible that there could be a special election and let the people, the county, vote on something like this instead of it being just in a handful of people? Is it possible? I have no idea.
It'd only be by petition.
Cindy Newberry, two things. Yes, I think you can. Weingard did it. When cable came in, it was on the ballot because we had Weingard. They didn't want cable. They voted on whether we could get cable or not. It can probably be done. I'm not a lawyer. Second thing, most importantly, is I did not indicate whatsoever, you misunderstood the whole thing about smoking and cancer. And my point is, it took years and years to prove that smoking was a health hazard. It's gonna take years and years to prove that all of the things that you can have go wrong from these wind things. There's so many things to look into. And I know that within, and I guess I didn't really explain, when your vestibular nerve doesn't work and you have IPDB, you're dizzy all the time. That's a known fact. I mean, this does it to me. So I'm sorry you misunderstood that. I did not say that they cause cancer. Thank you.
Rose Fisher. So we get accused of wanting a de facto ban, and I'm the first to admit, I would just as soon not have turbines. But if we're going to have them, then we need to be safe. So if we know for a fact there's going to be shadow flicker and there's going to be noise, why should I have to experience any of it on my own property when there's technology available to eliminate it? You even offered, Jim, you know that they have designs they could meet to make the sound 35 to 45, but yet you voted on 50. You know, they have technology to shut down a turbine so that there is no shadow flicker on my property. But you didn't require that. You required that I get 30 minutes a day of it. So there's things out there that you can do for our health and safety, and you've ignored them. So it's not about banning them. It's about making them safe. It's all my property. I shouldn't have to have any noise or shadow flicker on my property. I can look at them, great, fine. But I don't need the noise and shadow flicker. It's our property.
Donnie Wagenbach. So can there be a special election? You said something about petition. I don't understand. Can you explain? So the decision could be made by the people instead of a board.
I'd have to look it all up, I don't know.
We just have to look that up.
I don't know it right off the top of my head, I'd have to look at it.
They're not all the same, every one of them's different, so I'd have to do some research.
Tracy Lamb from the Hawkeye, isn't it true that a petition is based on the voter turnout in the last municipal election in which the county was involved? Is that correct?
10%.
10% of that turnout.
I'd have to look it all up, I don't know off the top of my head, I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
I think you're right on that, though, Tracy.
I think I am too. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. Bob?
Bob Strawhacker. One thing, I guess after 38 years as a landlord, I can tell you stories about things, but I noticed with the shadow flicker, if I remember right, you limited it to so many hours per year or whatever, but I didn't see any penalty for it. So many times I found that in contracts, you say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, they broke it, they didn't do it. If you put some numbers, a fine on it, a cost for it, that makes it so you're gonna pay more attention to it rather than just say, well, we're over that limit, we'll try to get it under. That'd be things I'd be hoping you would look at as you make the rules. It's helped me as a landlord. I think it would help you protect the county and the residents if you kind of thought along those lines.
I could take limit on equals. There's a limit on that.
I've got bats in my place.
Cindy Newberry, I agree with him to a point, but money's not the answer because they got plenty of money. So it has to be like, you shut it down until you fix the problem.
Enough money though, it'll start to get their attention, I believe.
And they got a lot of money, more money than they need.
We have structure in there for enforcement and penalties as outlined, which is an issue after the fact. So there is a mechanism there to follow up on that.
You hear that, Bob?
Yes, I did. That would be helpful.
It is. Yeah.
Who measures it? Who forces it?
You have to do it yourself.
So don't take my word for it?
No, you have to prove it.
Anybody else?
I still don't know how, Randy Forrest, sorry, how these people can convince you, Jim, to change your mind.
Or
Is
discuss
that
it.
possible? Vote.
Slow it down.
So I think that's a good thing, to slow it down to go another year. What do you have another year? Does that cost you anything? Did we get that commitment from you?
Not making any commitments. like that at this time. Nope. Sorry
Will you
about
take a
that.
look at it, maybe put it on the
I'll take a
agenda
look
and
at
and
it,
discuss it again? Would you do that? Put it on the agenda and discuss it again? Shane's got the right idea. So. Why don't you put it on the agenda to extend this for another year till December 31st, 26? Give these people more time. You need more time to look at this stuff. I think there's a lot out there. Take a camper up and where these windmills are at and park it there and spend a week there.
Full with camper.
Well,
I'll give you mine.
Rent one, you can rent one. They rent them?
I'll give you mine, you can take it.
Give us an answer. If people are right, you're looking like you want to shove this thing down their throat real fast here and.
Yeah.
No, I don't wanna shove it down their throat.
And you say you're against them. No. Why don't you do something about that height?
Tracy asked me, the newspaper asked me when I said I was against it. She said, remember what she said?
No.
Why?
I'm sorry, but no. What did I say?
You said, if you're against them, then when they get the ordinance, we set an ordinance, are you gonna vote for it?
Yes,
And
I did
said
ask
if
that,
they
I
had-
remember that.
Yeah. I said if they've got their I's dotted, their T's crossed, if they abide by what we put down, yes, they will.
Well.
And that's
we don't
still
want
where
them-
I'm at.
We don't want them that high.
And we've been working on this ordinance, and I feel the gentleman back here has got a website, you ought to go on and look at it and read that website, and some of you might change your own mind on it.
That's not gonna happen because we have to live with them, Jim. And you understand, you're moving to Minneapolis? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do when these things encroach on Minneapolis and they encroach the flicker flash on Minneapolis?
Well, I guess.
Because I can tell you right now, a 650-foot windmill will have flicker flash on Moines, so. And Winfield.
Wyatt Moore. So the buck stops with somebody, and this is the problem with government all the way from grassroots all the way to federal. Jim, you made a statement, the state needs to be in charge of this. That's passing the buck off. And you have the opportunity right now to make a decision that's going to be impactful for generations to come. This is the problem with government. I mean, everyone will admit that. We want to shovel this off. We want to delegate this to somebody off. You got the power, do it.
Allison Moore, I have a question. When people refer to the Norwex manual, like Brad Coates, do you think that's extreme? The setback that they have in their manual? Or do you think it's a good idea?
I haven't read that manual.
Well, they say, what, is it 3250?
I read it.
Wait,
3280.
3280, so.
And I emailed it to you.
So think how old that was, and they're not talking about a 650-foot turbine. Do you know what height that was for?
Not for sure.
I mean, it's certainly,
I thought it was
it was
450.
2017, they did not have turbines this tall. So I mean, if they had 3280 on a turbine quite smaller than ours, I don't understand why you wouldn't think that that would be probably
Turbine is from the base up to the tip of
Yeah.
the blade,
that's 650 feet.
at 650 foot. The tower is not gonna be that high.
Right, but the whole thing
I
is what's
understand. I
dangerous,
understand.
the spinning part.
Richard Tager. I'm involved, got involved in this wind turbine thing. When the state of Iowa got sued, I had to sue a company called Global Fiberglass Solutions. Got a very interesting phenomena with the state of Iowa, and then I got involved with the 500,000 turbine blades laying down in Sweetwater, Texas. That got left there by a company that took about $25 million from General Electric and walked away. I haven't heard anybody address the result of when we take these blades down, what happens to them, where are they going, and that they are disposed of properly. I haven't heard that today.
It's in that ordinance, and.
I haven't read your ordinance,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Tim Fisher. You said earlier something about the height of the tower. And from the tower on up is the height of the blade, that's the 650
Yeah.
feet.
Yes.
And you realize that that spins all the way around,
Yeah.
3 of them. Do you know what it does when you hold that flat like a plate and you turn it? Your 715-foot setback from a property line drops by probably close to half. So there,
400 and some foot.
so in essence, you're giving us like maybe a 350-foot setback from our property lines is where the tip of the blades are gonna be when it rotates the head of that turbine around. Would you want that 350 feet away from your property?
Well,
I guess you won't have the meaty apples?
Cindy Newberry, one more question. Have you personally placed yourself, and Tom, I assume you're in here, you're actually not talking. Have you actually put yourself 1,800 foot or 1,950 from a 650 foot windmill?
No.
Then how can you even pick a number just because, oh, I'll pick this number because that county's doing it and they got away with it and this will make them happy, but I have. It's scary. It's scary. It was 635 feet, I think, so it still wasn't quite tall enough. But you can't even imagine the feel of it, how close they're huge. They're huge. And the one I visited, I think I showed you this once.
Yeah, that's the one you said they had opened up and you tempted to walk into.
They can say anything. Oh, we're gonna put a fence around it, an unclimbable fence. You can't get in them. The doors have to be locked. The door was open, no one was there anywhere. There's steps right up to it without a fence. So they can say whatever they want. So I guess maybe you can make them? They didn't get to make them. This is I don't know if this will work. This is a 635 foot, I don't know if you can hear it. It makes a huge, I showed this to Jim. It sounds like you're beating on a barrel.
Did you have something?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Jim. So, to us out here, when we saw the agenda Friday, it was quite obvious that this was being shoved through. You guys took a vote before you got any input from us. Now, you may have gotten 14 emails, but you said you didn't read them. So, you've had the county attorney suggest waiting on the Iowa Supreme Court decision. You've had the private attorney suggest waiting on the Supreme Court decision. So can we have a moratorium in place until that decision comes out?
Something the three of us have to talk about. Right now, we're good until the 31st of January, so.
So if the decision does not come out by then?
I don't know, we'll talk about it, see where we come. See how it ends up.
So you're planning 3 public hearings, the 6th, the 13th, you may waive the 20th, and you're gonna vote. You're gonna vote, so what good does the moratorium till January 31st do if you're gonna vote? Are you gonna hold off on the vote?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, so then, this makes no sense. There's so many unknowns, why would you not wait? Shane?
I don't feel comfortable with it moving forward. I already spoke that, but I mean, I'm not gonna beat Jim and Tom down. I mean, it's, it is what it is, but no, I don't feel comfortable moving forward with it. I don't.
You didn't vote no,
Yeah, I did.
not for that.
Yeah, I
You
did.
did not vote no for 4B.
I just voted no.
You voted no for 4A.
I voted no for,
For 4A.
yeah, for the approval of the revisions to the wind and solar.
But you didn't vote no for the public hearing.
No, I voted yeah for the public hearing, yeah.
Yeah,
You
to
just
be
said you
all-
don't feel comfortable going.
To be all held during the morning. You voted yes for that.
What's that now?
For the public hearings, they're all scheduled for 9 AM Monday
Yeah,
morning
I
in
know,
this
and I would be open for an evening meeting. I'm saying I would be open for that. I'd be cool with that.
So,
You're asking them to make decisions that
Yeah.
are on the agenda.
that was
You're
on the
asking-
agenda.
But you're asking, and they
Well-
voted.
We asked
And now
before
you're
that,
asking
believe
them,
me.
we want you to move it, we want you to, that's something that they would have to deliberate and take another vote on. It's not something that Jim or Shane today could say, this is what we're doing.
We asked them all weekend to do that.
So
The
if
agenda
that
would have already
was,
been out, so.
if that was
They could
voted
have voted
on,
no.
cannot Shane make a motion or Jim make a motion to re-vote and change that so there's
Not
an
at this
evening
point.
meeting?
Not at this point.
The
Not at
vote
this
has been
point.
done. Now, if they wanna
But the
revisit
next
it on
meeting-
another agenda and make it an agenda item for the next, that they can do.
So that agenda item would fall on the 6th, the date of the first public hearing.
It could.
Ran before again. Shane, would you ask to be asked for that motion, for that to be put on next week's agenda? Or not next week's, but the 6th agenda?
I think the county attorney just said he cannot answer that because they went, so.
We can have it put on the agenda to discuss whether or not they want to.
Isn't that what I asked?
And that will be up to them to determine. It's an administrative task of whether they want to do
Did
that.
they discuss that before the meeting?
It could, you know, it's a work session before the meeting.
Okay. We're asking you to do that, Shane.
Seeing no more, we're out of here.
Aye.
Aye. Tom? Aye?
Wake up.
Probably thanks to grandkids.
I appreciate everybody for coming. I know everybody's passionate about this. And we encourage passion, but it's always trying to be respectful. Let's just keep that in mind, because we got some